At KVGC News Time, 7 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. Time now for a look at the latest on the local scene. In the news for a Wednesday, the third day of January for 2018, Jackson police were called to the Old Mel's parking lot along Highway 49 late Monday afternoon, just after 4 p.m., to the report of a man bleeding and unresponsive. When JPD officer Arvalos arrived, he found an older male on the pavement near a bench close to the public restrooms. The officer started CPR, and a short time later, Shannon Fitzsimmons, an off-duty nurse paramedic, was passing the scene and stopped to assist. The American Legion ambulance and Jackson Fire arrived a short time later and continued with CPR and other medical efforts. The man was then transported to Sutter Amador Hospital, where he was pronounced dead just after 5 p.m. At this point, following the investigation of the scene, the Jackson Police Department report no criminal or suspicious activity and are awaiting autopsy results to determine the cause of death. The man's identity will be released following notification of next of kin, which could come sometime later today. Well, a reluctant Sutter Creek City Council voted to raise development fees and discussed further details of the pending Main Street Bridge project at their meeting last night. The council voted 4-1, with council member Tim Murphy opposed, to raise the development impact fees that the city charges on new development in the city. The fees are used for new road, public safety buildings, and historic preservation. While intended as an increase to keep pace with inflation, the city has not changed these fees in 10 years, so the increase is a little over 25%. For example, building a typical single-family house now costs $11,000 in fees, and those fees will increase to $13,500 per building. Several council members expressed their reluctance when voting yes. "It's a large increase," said Jim Swift, "but everything costs more than it did 10 years ago. The increase will go into effect in 60 days. With construction fast approaching, the council also discussed details of the Main Street Bridge project down to the color of the new sidewalks. Bidding for the construction is expected to start on January 12th. Utility companies are expected to start their work in February, and construction on the road itself should begin at the start of April and will disrupt traffic in town through the rest of the year, at least. Well, a vehicle chase that started in Ione ended in Calaveras County early New Year's Day. The CHP reports that around 11:15 Sunday evening, El Dorado resident Justin Dornbreyer was reportedly driving recklessly and nearly hit two pedestrians in Ione, one of them an on-duty Ione police officer. A Be on the Lookout was broadcast, and a short time later, Dornbreyer was spotted traveling eastbound on Highway 88 near Lower Ridge Road at a high rate of speed. A Jackson officer attempted to stop the man, but he failed and continued southbound on Highway 49, where the CHP picked up the pursuit into Calaveras County. The San Andreas CHP was able to successfully deploy a spike strip just north of Highway 12, and Dornbreyer eventually came to a stop on Highway 49 at Mountain Ranch Road, where he was taken into custody. The incident is still under investigation. And 3 people were injured in a 3-vehicle incident late Friday afternoon, according to the Amador CHP, Friday evening around 6:30. Leslie Scheller of Sutter Creek was stopped on Sutter Ione Road, waiting to continue east across Highway 49, while Dennis Walker of Mountain Ranch was stopped on Sutter Ione, waiting to continue west across the highway. Scheller entered the intersection directly in front of a vehicle driven by a Sacramento man. The force of the collision sent the Sacramento man's vehicle directly into the front of Walker's vehicle. Scheller, the Sacramento man, and his passenger were taken to Sutter Amador Hospital with minor injuries. And new to gardening in the foothills, or are you interested in trying something different in your home garden? Well, pick up some great tips on meeting those gardening challenges at Introduction to Gardening in the Foothills, presented by the Master Gardeners of Amador County on Saturday the 20th. Information and methods of assessing your growing area, proper plant selection, as well as proper planting techniques will all be discussed and demonstrated. On the following Saturday, roses, flowering trees, and shrubs will be the topic of the Master Gardeners class. Master Gardeners at this class on the 27th will discuss various ornamental trees and shrubs that grow throughout Amador County and the seasons in which they bloom. For questions on both classes, call the Master Gardeners of Amador County Tuesday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to noon at 223-6838. And that's a look at the news for a Wednesday, the 3rd day of January. From the KVGC News Center, I'm Jim Geedy reporting.